but he was talking about if there were a Killer Queen pinball machine,
Jesus.
who they would have produce it.
Did he have some thoughts on that matter, or was he kind of looking for guidance? Just kind of
No, he had
talking
thoughts.
point?
Yeah, he had thoughts on it. It was he felt like their indie style was more represented in a company like Spooky or American Pinball than Stern.
Do you hear that, Mom?
Yes.
We have special guest stars.
He thinks he's hilarious.
I almost got the names right. I mean, I got the names right. I just don't necessarily have the positioning right.
I am finishing up my growler that I got filled this past weekend from Denton of the Shannon Irish Red. I will heavily endorse for anyone that likes their brown, their ambers. The Shannon Irish Red is phenomenal beer.
I think the name's great.
Have you had it yet, Shannon?
No.
What? It's
I
got your
drink
name
Miller
all.
Lite.
It's got your name all over it. You should try it. Welcome to the Pinballers. Brendan is not with us today, so it's just Shannon, David, and Austin. And that means I guess we need an alpha. I don't know. Is that me? Austin, do you mind running the show? I just like putting everything in your hands.
Well, yeah, I suppose as much as I'm needed, sure, I can help.
Cool. Yeah, it's the Pinballers. Have all the usual suspects sans Brendan here. And no, I don't think we have a specific game, but I know you got a new game, so I figured we would talk to you about your new game mostly, right?
Oh yeah, sure, we can do that if you want. I mean, I don't want to be necessarily the center of attention, but we can certainly discuss it if you want.
I mean, I like your game. You
Oh, which one you want to focus on? Because we technically got two since the last.
Which two did you get?
You got Simpsons Pinball Party, but I think what you want to focus on is Alice Cooper's Nightmare Castle.
Yeah, that's the one that interests me more at this moment, which is odd because you can play Simpsons Pinball Party at Free Play Fort Worth on Friday. But yeah, I got to play it at TPF. I hadn't played it since, but I really enjoyed it. So interested how your experience is with it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah. You want to jump right into that, or you want to do any kind of around the horn first?
Let's do around the horn first.
Sure.
Yeah. How have you been, Austin?
Yeah, been doing well. Yeah, kind of business as usual. So, yeah, y'all know for me, my life didn't change. It's still just kind of the normal work scene for me, and that has continued.
And obviously, you got 2 new pinball machines.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of activity in changing our lineup. So yeah, we can even talk about that a bit. I mean, I think I've spent more time moving pins in and out of the house in the last 2 weeks than ever before, because we've never changed this many out this fast.
I hope you've had some help. Have they just been watching you do it? You know what? You're Superman. You probably just did it with one arm.
They're fun. I mean, they're intimidating if you look at them, right? But moving a pin by yourself, it's actually pretty manageable. But my daughter stayed over for a few days, and she helped me with a lot of it.
That was awful nice of her. Is she back at home now?
Yeah, back at home. And all of that stuff was breaking out downtown. Unfortunately, that's right in the area where she lives. So I thought it perhaps better that she elsewhere during that time of rest.
Yeah, I remember I got to see you out at Free Play Fort Worth that day. How was your Free Play Fort Worth Sans arcade games experience?
Oh yeah, that was good stuff. Yeah, we've gone out there a couple of times since. So we went out there that day, and we also went out there this past Sunday just to hang out and throw a bite and grab something to drink.
I wish I knew the names of the Free Play Fort Worth bartenders better. I know the
Yeah,
whole.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously there's a couple of new faces even for me, but yeah, it'll be good to get the crew all back. I know that everyone, it was kind of all hands on deck this week, right, to get all the games moved back out. I think there were a lot of posts on that, right? I don't know if everyone knows the backstory, right? Not knowing what was going to go on and having to, make sense of it all, right? You don't want to necessarily leave the most valuable games in a precarious situation, and so that was you've seen all the posts moving. I know that had to be some long days.
I believe so, very much so. I've been here in front of the camera, so it's been all but one hands on deck, and it makes me feel a little queasy to know that everybody's working that hard. But yeah, they are jetting about town, and I've been passing multiple. Like every time I go out of the house, I pass a free play truck. It's that much action happening around here as they're getting to all the locations.
Yeah, cool stuff. I would imagine those were like long days and no telling how many machines. So kudos.
David,
Talk to them.
David, how have you been?
Well, we'll start off with the sad news today. I'm a little bit down with the passing of Mr. Wrestling #2, Johnny Walker. For those wrestling fans of the 80s and 90s, it's just a sad. But other than that, Aerosmith is out the door, and I was hoping it was going to be today, but I won't get delivered until Saturday. Houdini!
Hey, congrats.
Nice.
So that will be fun.
So that's the one that was making you had to make room for.
I did. I had to part. I was getting tired of Aerosmith. I wasn't playing it as much. There's some people out there that rotate their pins like every 6 months, and I've had that one for 2.5, 3 years. So finally selling a game and buying another one.
Yeah, I got a chance to play Houdini at. He owns a castle indoors.
Bobby Neefer.
Yes,
Yeah.
Bobby Neefer's place. I got to play Houdini, and had some fun on it. Even though Ethan wrecked me. That was the one Ethan put me out on.
It's got the shots are tougher. The rules are it's complex, so it'll be fun.
Yeah, should be a lot of replay value there. Shannon, what have you been up to this week?
I have been. I haven't done shit this week, really. Did some yard work. My son rode a bike.
You played Doom with me for like 15 hours. What do you mean nothing?
Well, that is true. And I think it was only like 8.
It was like 8 yesterday.
Oh yeah, true. Just 8 yesterday. So yeah, I've been playing. I played a lot of Doom. Obviously, I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty. I think I'm about to play The Last of Us.
Ooh, you're in for a treat.
Yeah, so since the second one is about to come out, and I started the first one before, but I failed miserably at it and kept dying
All right,
to a zombie. So
yeah, I have a suggestion for you on The Last of Us. You're in for a movie or maybe a season of a television series, so don't skip the cutscenes.
okay.
Yeah, and if that turns you off right now, then you probably shouldn't play it because it's really good. One of the top 3 narratives I've ever experienced in a video game. But if you skip it, you'll miss the good stuff with The Last of Us.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Was the story was phenomenal. So
Yeah. So that's definitely the way to go. Definitely watch that. But you get to play pinball again this weekend.
I do.
Are
Starting
you going out?
Friday. So Friday, I'm gonna be at Richardson.
Okay.
Probably 5:30 or so.
Mhm.
And then Saturday, I'm going to Free Play Denton after I go kayaking.
Nice.
Yes.
What's the first pinball you want to play?
I'll be at Richardson, so I don't know. Probably play TNA first. Hopefully it's still in its spot.
Last time I checked, it was, but that was a few very active days ago.
Right, exactly.
I assume it's still there.
I hope so. That's my favorite spot. Like, it's kind of in the corner,
Mm-hmm.
and I have the bar right next to me. So yeah, that's my favorite little spot.
Yeah, that's the hidden cove, even though it's right next to the door to play
I know.
a pinball game. It's so weird because it is right there at the front door, and yet that's the most likely to be open pinball table. So you can
Yep.
you can get your games of Lord of the Rings and TNA.
And my bartender's right there.
Yeah. Refill is just lean to the right.
It's a beautiful thing. And I can't wait for it to open.
Yeah.
It has been the longest week that I've had to go through in a while.
Yeah. Even me, the last time I played pinball was actual pinball. It was TNA, and it was maybe the first or second weekend that we were delivery driving.
Yeah.
Where I was delivery driving when we had some of the slower days. But yeah, I stopped turning the machine on because I didn't want to like get people's hopes up that they were walking in and like, oh, we can play arcade games again. No,
Right.
I just can't. So
No, I'm working and taking a break. Sorry. Move on. Nothing to see here.
right. I felt. Plus, I like
Moving
playing
on.
games with people. So I wanted it to be the opposite. I wanted to be like, well, you know what? You're in the right place at the right time. Sure, here, play with me. But that's what we couldn't do. So I hit the power and never turned it back on. So I'm looking forward to getting back to pinball as well.
Yep. It's going to be great.
All right, so Austin,
I'm going to get to meet all my new friends.
what's that? All of our new
I get
friends?
to meet all my new friends.
Who
I
are
made
they?
so many friends over this Corona break, via the internet. People that I'd never met before.
Who are you looking forward to meeting? I know Ian wants to
Um,
meet the entire Denton Finance clan.
Yeah, so I never met Ian.
Uh-huh.
I've never met Jerry.
DLs, Jerry?
Yeah.
Nice.
And then a lot of the Street Fighter guys because I don't typically play.
General, you've definitely met.
Yes.
General Yegov. Have you guys been following the drama of General Yegov and his fighting game prowess?
No.
David
I didn't know
Austin?
there was drama.
No, I haven't.
General Yegov has been playing fighting games with us. He throws a lot of fireballs. He's got pretty good execution, and he's a really he's definitely an up and coming player. Although he's not he's not a kid by any means. He hasn't had a chance to play pinball since Free Play closed down, and you guys would know him because he typically wears a glove when he plays pinball at Free Play.
I know him, yep.
Yeah. Yeah, he never
He's
goes.
quite the knowledgeable pinballer.
Yes,
and
he
he's
is.
quite the pinball player, too.
Yeah, he is. He doesn't.
Oh yeah, I mean I saw him. I saw the very first time he played Street Fighter with you guys online.
Yeah.
And then I saw him a couple weeks later, and he was kicking people's butts, and it was pretty good. Impressive.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to seeing him. I don't think he'll be out immediately either because he still has, health concerns that keep him indoors. But
Right.
when we do see him again, I'm looking forward to seeing him play pinball and apparently play fighting games now. He's learned a new COVID trade. His COVID main is Street Fighter.
His schedule's about to be a lot busier because you guys do Street Fighter fighting games weekly, whereas pinball's monthly.
Well, when David's got it working, then it's weekly as well on pinball.
Yes, very true, very true.
Yeah, and we're yeah. Go ahead, David.
No, nothing. We're just going to wait and see how things clear out and let the IFPA give us the green light, and we'll, hopefully maybe we can do a September-October season. Crossing my fingers for that.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I know the IFPA is financially motivated to keep people playing pinball and keep people playing in pinball tournaments. So I'm thinking that it's a pretty good metric to know when to start back with the organized pinball whenever they sanction events again. I will definitely have some monthly tournaments. I haven't announced June's tournament yet because I need to know what's available in most locations, because I think that's the focus right now, will be more on games where you can compete over time, as opposed to Pinball Monday style or Pinball League style.
I don't mind a high score challenge. That would be fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know what game it should be though. We shall see. I don't know. With the arcade challenge, it's definitely going to be one that you can play at every location. So something like Ms. Pac. Maybe Defender if we want to see Austin dunk on us all again. So Austin, tell us about your new table, Alice Cooper.
Well, yeah, appreciate it. It's I got to be honest with you, I don't know all of the rule set yet. Mm-hmm. We two games that are new, as I mentioned. We got one brought in on Saturday, May 30th. That was a Simpsons Pinball Party, and we got Alice Cooper's Nightmare Castle brought in on Friday, June 5th. So, focusing on Alice Cooper Nightmare Castle, we just as the backstory for those of you who may not know, we had posted our Creature from the Black Lagoon for sale or trade. We really wanted to trade it. We liked the machine. We enjoyed it. And it's kind of what David said, about Aerosmith. Aerosmith's a great table, right? And, David wasn't suggesting that it was not. It's just you get to a point, you kind of want something new. And it's nothing that, hey, I just want to refresh something, nothing more than that. So we got to that point, had a couple of different offers, and we went out and played Alice Cooper's Nightmare Castle. And to be honest, we kind of fell in love with it. There's a lot of really cool stuff you could say from the gameplay, but I would also say, and I know some people out there in the community don't necessarily look at this, or when someone says this, they get the wrong idea. It's also a beautiful machine. So it came available from Spooky in two colors, gray, outfitted in gray, or outfitted in this really nice dark blue. And it's got the lollipop protectors kind of coming down the side to some degree. It's just a really nice machine. It is incredibly tight on the shot. So the shot lanes they're brutal. And I think that was actually one of the reasons why maybe some people don't like it as much. If you're not looking for a difficult game, probably not for you. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people that do complain about the shot lanes being so unforgiving. But for me, I mean, that's one of the things that we look for in a game. So it's a beautiful game. I think it's got a great rule set, and it plays very nice. And so we're really enjoying it. I've been playing it more, I think, than Tracy. With my daughter being over, we kind of gravitated towards that. And you know how it is when you get a new pinball, you whether it's in the public or whether it's in your house, you kind of gravitate towards really understanding the depth of it. And so I did that with the Simpsons Pinball Party for a few days because it was new. And then I went right over to Alice Cooper's Nightmare Castle. So I've been spending more time on AC&C for sure. And so my daughter and I were playing. It's got co-op mode, so you've got that same concept that TNA does. It's got a really cool ball save feature that you can earn. That is it's a straight down the middle magnet. So if you're looking at the play field itself, there's an area where it's like an illuminated bat's eye. There's a magnet below that, so straight down the middle, and you can earn that ball save, which is really cool. Basically, if you spell save and you've got one going, last ditch effort can save you. So it's a really cool ball save. I like it. I like all of the shot elements I've seen thus far, and haven't gotten to $1 Billion Baby yet. I do need to put code updates. They made some interesting design decisions for this game that are definitely, something you could say is a knock against them, quite honestly. But it's different. It's different in many ways, and in some.
What are you thinking of?
So, there's a lot of technical nuance, and I know not everyone wants to hear this, but like lights are RGB with a 4-wire setup. And that doesn't sound like anything until you realize that, like, for example, Penn Stadium lights on it are they're their own unique challenge. And the person that we got it from, they had actually dealt with this in a very nice way. But you can't just install Penn Stadiums in it and get the same effect, right? Because they're doing the 4-wire leads on the RGB, trying to get 256 different colors out of it, rather than go with, say, a surface mount LED or some of the other things that are options. So it's interesting from that perspective. I'll be honest with you, and not to be critical, because we like it, we really do. But there are a couple of spots where and I mean, this is true on any pin, right? Where you can have a ball that kind of escapes the normal area where it should on a play field. Mm-hmm. I find there's more of those on this machine, perhaps, than there should be with good, well thought through design. And even so much as to say that earlier today I was in there just taking a look at it, turned it on, saw it doing a ball locate, and I normally don't have to search too much for a ball, but this was glass off, table up, 10 minutes worth of effort, and then I realized that the ball on a previous game, I'm supposing, had perhaps ended up jumping over maybe the back of the playfield. There's a mech area by the Frankenstein creature in the far left hand area, but I suppose it could have jumped up there and exited the playfield. It was down inside the cabinet.
Holy cow.
Literally down inside the cabinet. So interesting problems, right? First world problems, right? But nonetheless, interesting problems to have, to say the least. So yeah, but overall, still love it. Doesn't diminish my love for the game at all. I will definitely be playing it until I can, get to the end of it, so to speak, right? Because if you get to the end of $1 Billion Babies, but you don't exit the mode, I'm pretty sure it ends there, and it may even exit in. I'm not sure. They've done, like, I think 3 code updates since you played it at TPF. When $1 Billion Babies was still kind of a beta. So now they're in 1101, and I think I've got a 107. I think you probably played 106. Mm-hmm. So I think we're probably standing at least 3 or 4 code revisions from when you played it, and 2 more code revisions available are out beyond what I have loaded on it. And it's pretty cool. I mean, it's a cool game without a doubt.
Are there a lot of gameplay updates as far as like the code?
No, it's mostly stabilization of things for the most part. Things like I read through the change notes. There was a version where apparently the guillotine could come down in the middle of a hurry up, and of course that would cause a freeze condition, because the guillotine coming down on that far right shot actually would, if it were in the down position in active play on a hurry up, would prevent your ball from coming down at the right time. Memory leak, other little issues. Nothing too big, but certainly a lot of what I'd consider base bugs, and then some of the other things where maybe they've changed some of the gameplay for some of the features. But I would say that overall kind of typical stuff you would see.
So it wouldn't be like me going to play Guardians of the Galaxy for the first time since its release, where I'd be blown away by how different it is. It's same gameplay wise, just more stability.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, without a doubt. Same gameplay. I mean, it's same basic efforts, right? You're trying to get all 9 monsters and get to $1 Billion Babies as the ultimate goal. Mm-hmm. So that core functionality that's always been there. Yeah, you certainly can't fault them with that. With a rule writer like Bowen, I mean, it's deep. I mean, it is an incredibly deep game. And that's, if you can't see the pattern, right? Simpsons Pinball Party, known for being incredibly deep. Alice Cooper Nightmare Castle, again, known for incredibly difficult play and deep rule set. I think those are the kind of games that we get attracted to long term. And there will become a time we're tired of these too, no doubt. But I think Bowen and the team did a really good job on it overall. And to be honest with you, this being our first spooky, I'm really anxious to see what that gameplay looks like on Rick and Morty. This kind of, I guess you'd say, give us a primer for what to expect, and yeah, we're certainly happy with it. You know, I don't want to sit here and seem like I'm picking anyone apart with the downsides that I mentioned, right? At the end of the day, it's a really cool machine, really pretty, and love the play of it so far.
David, do you have any thoughts on Alice Cooper?
I have never. I played it at TPF. I played it once, and it didn't enthrall me when I played it then. But that's just me.
I dug it, and part of the reason I liked it was it felt like a journey when I played the game. Like you're navigating rooms, just navigating. The concept of navigating in a pinball game, I can't recall that with the exception of maybe the video mode in Star Trek: The Next Generation. Like I never really think about like going somewhere in the pinball, whereas you do definitely like take your path through the house and to get to the boss monster. Like you're actually navigating it, and kind of like Smash TV almost. I enjoyed that kind of quirk. Can you guys think of any other like navigation type gimmicks in a pinball machine?
Not to the level of this one. Maybe to add some color to what you're saying, you know, again, because it sounds like there's probably a lot of people who haven't played it that much.
I would imagine almost everybody has not played it. I know Shannon.
When you think about the depth of the rule set, and, you know, we talked about getting all 9 monsters and getting the $1 billion babies, which of course is an Alice Cooper tune. It's a pretty popular one. The point in the game is, for example, you have shots where you've got to find the monster, and those shots may not reveal a monster. So you might have 4, as an example, 4 green shots that are lit on the field somewhere. And you shoot one and the monster's not there. You shoot another and the monster's not there. You finally find the monster. You hit that one, right? You get a bonus for it, and then you get a hurry up. There's other modes where you might have green shots, and then once you make one of the green shots, you have red shots. Well, you don't want to actually make the red shots. You kind of get penalized in the sense. And there is a path. So to your point, when you coin up the game, there's on the display, right, the HD display up above, it actually shows your path, because that's exactly what you're doing. You're going through different rooms in the castle, creating different or getting to different, you know, points in the game, and ultimately the goal is to battle Alice Cooper and to be able to escape his castle. So that's the basic storyline. And from that perspective, I don't know of another game that has done it this well. I do understand what you're saying, right? You got the Star Trek Next Generation. There is some cool stuff there that somewhat relates, because, you know, you're going into different quadrants, etc. You got Q's Challenge, you got all those other elements, but to really have a theme that ties the entire game together like this, and really ultimately ties the wizard mode into it as well, I don't know of another one that has done it quite like this.
Let's see if I can get my cursor on this there. Yeah, you guys can see my cursor, right? I can highlight shots if you like. Let's see. Here's the guillotine shot you were referring to. I think, if I recall correctly, these ramps is what the navigation comes through. Is that right?
That can be one form of navigation. The ramps can be one. You've actually got 3 shots over there. So you've got one to the left of that ramp, and you got one to the right of that ramp. You got that one that's almost in the center as you go to your 4th shot. You got another shot just to the right of that actually has 3 targets behind it. That can actually change the monsters. Mm-hmm. One to the right of that is actually the crypt lock. So you go in there, you can actually start a 2-ball multi-ball called crypt multi-ball. And then you've got 2 more. So the next shot over there, the next to the right is the ramp. You, of course, can go up. You make the ramp shot, you go up there. You can do things like lock ball number 2 by going up there. That's that target that you drop. A guillotine is a backhand shot to the right. You can get points for that. You can also drop the ball down from there into crypt. Then that far right orbit is just another one that could also be a target navigation. Then you drop down even farther on the table when you're really close above the slings. A scoop to the left. And so there's one scoop to the far left, and then there's a target on the far left just above that scoop. Then when you look at the mirror on the right-hand side, there's a target in the same place on the right-hand side. It is a target-rich environment. And if you have a couple of those shots that are going up, especially that one that's most center, if you do not have the force and you don't have that perfectly lined up, talking about the tight shot, you will find it to be very very unforgiving.
Man, this one does it for me. This one made me happy at TPF. Yeah, I like the complexity of the play field. I'm trying to think. Star Wars is the one where I look at it and I think like this one's too much for me. But this one doesn't do the things that drive me batty about Star Wars, which is the multiplier mechanics, the action button mechanics. And this one doesn't even have an action button, correct?
Right.
Right.
So, it doesn't.
So nothing there to bother me. No guns, which is not my favorite. I have no problem with actual guns, by the way. I just don't want guns in my pinball.
Right.
Then shooting the ball, launching the ball at the center, like at the flippers. And I don't think this one does that as well. So those are all the pitfalls for me personally on Star Wars. And so this is a complex table, but man, I really, really enjoyed it at TPF.
I think I like it because it's so complex, without a doubt. I wouldn't say that I'm the biggest Alice Cooper fan, nor is Tracy, but it is a game that I appreciate, no doubt.
All I really know about Alice Cooper is he did Schools Out, and everybody said Marilyn Manson was copying Alice Cooper. And then
That's about what I know about Alice Cooper as well.
Right. And then I would listen to the music and be like, this doesn't sound anything like Alice Cooper or Marilyn Manson. But they meant the persona on stage.
He has incredibly cool call outs. I mean, some of the backstory when Spooky was creating this, they actually had the chance to go over to Alice Cooper's house and stay there so that he could do some of the voice recordings. As according to the documentation, 700 call outs. He's got some really cool call outs. I mean, really cool call outs.
That's awesome.
Like making subtle references to Rob Zombie, which of course was the machine they made previous to this. Also kind of in that same genre, if you will, of music that you could probably put Marilyn Manson, Rob Zombie, and Alice Cooper in. I mean,
kind of like horror-themed rock. Yeah.
Horror-themed rock, without a doubt.
A zombie table.
Yes. A limited edition, just like this one. This one's done. There are no more Alice Coopers ever being produced.
Wow.
Bummer.
I can't imagine there being more Alice Cooper's Nightmare Castle being produced. It would have to have an amazing renaissance in the aftermarket, and I don't see it happening because it would have to be so amazing that they got the license again.
Yeah, for sure. And for Spooky, I mean, they are big. There's a lot of fans within that family of both Rob Zombie and Alice Cooper, so it also kind of makes sense to me that they would make this machine. But, I mean, again, for what it's worth, it is a gorgeous pin. I mean, I actually, and not to pressure you to getting it, but like you see the metal on the left-hand side and right-hand side, and you see the back box. That machine is done in that dark blue. It is just gorgeous. I mean, it's a work of art. I mean, not that it's an ugly table there, but it's an absolute work of art. So, not that I just sit there and look at a table, but it is pretty cool to play when you got that light coming in from the speakers. They're illuminated green there. They change colors throughout. I like tables that play well and you don't have these dark deficiencies, within the lighting setup that you don't have to necessarily account for. And like I said, this one does have pin stadiums on it. I think this is a well-lit game, and I think a lot of that has to do with positioning of the life and the colors of the playfield. Some playfields, I mean, I really love The Walking Dead, but this is a pretty dark playfield, and it's not necessarily by default illuminated all that well. So I think they even did a great job here. Artwork on the table, again, it's not even really the theme or anything to me. I think it's just beautifully done. I appreciate the work that went into it.
Yeah, I don't actually have, like I said, I barely knew anything of Alice Cooper, so I don't have an affinity for the music. I mean, it's not offensive to me, but it's not my jam either. So that's not lost on me, but it's not like a Stern where I feel like, you know, it's just highlighting the 10 tracks or whatever that they included and throwing that in my face. Which, as much as I love David's old Aerosmith table, that is kind of how that one is. It just so happens that I can listen to those Aerosmith tracks a million times.
You know, the real reason why I got rid of Aerosmith was the lack of a Dream On multi-ball. Why they didn't put in Dream On onto that table, it blows my mind. So I had to get rid of it.
Well, if you got a Dream On multi-ball, you got to have Major Barbara as the wizard mode, I suppose. You know, go to an obscure track, because I'm a big Aerosmith fan. I love that band. Sure.
Yeah, I really dig the. Yeah, I'm a Aerosmith fan as well. So I dig the music, though it also in that very sterny way, like it's very in your face with the music. Whereas Alice Cooper's table, like I can't remember a single song. I can't remember a single song from it.
It's in the background. It's much more subdued. It definitely takes second fiddle to the gameplay. And you're right. They take a different approach. The fact that it's there, you're aware of it. It's very background. It doesn't. It's a completely different design consideration than what Stern does. So now you're spot on with your recollection of it. One other thing I forgot about that I thought I should mention: when you look at the animations, like when you're getting these different animals, you know, the werewolf or old apple or any of these other items that you're going for to get the wizard mode, it's got a comic book style animation on the screen. So you've got this beautiful HD display, you know, and it's showing you this comic book style animation. So if you know, even if you're not into that, just, you know, appreciating it for what it is, it really is beautifully done. And uniquely so.
I bet if you took a 12-year-old and had them play this table for an hour and then asked them why it's named Alice Cooper's Nightmare Castle, they would have no idea what the significance of the name Alice Cooper is.
I would agree.
Yeah. So that's interesting. I mean, that's a design choice. Like, kudos to Alice Cooper for letting them do it that way too. So
exactly. I mean, yeah, it's much more in the background, so to speak. You know, it's the track that's going on behind it. And you're right. I mean, looking at it now, right, which is what you have on your screen. Mm-hmm. Aside from the name and the image that I know is a depiction of Alice Cooper there on the screen, how would you know this is any way related to Alice Cooper? Because it doesn't talk about any of his albums or anything, right?
This guy right here looks like another monster.
Exactly.
What was the production numbers on it? Do you know?
I think they only did 750, I think, and it may have even been 500. I may have to validate that. Wow. Two numbers come to mind.
But the number in my head was 600, so somewhere in there.
Yeah, you could be right. Let me see if I can find it on Pinside right quick just to see, because they usually have the production numbers.
I had a question about it, the physicality of the table. My main question when I played it from if we had ever had this on the floor sort of thing is the guillotine shot, and it's like mechanical twirling here at the end. Does that work consistently? Is that an issue that you have to work with?
Not at all. So that's a wire form. Mm-hmm. So the guillotine shot up at the top, you know, that guillotine is really just kind of like it's a prop. I mean,
right, it's a toy.
It's just a piece of cloth up there. When it comes down and it comes into that twirl, I mean, that's all wire form. So I mean, that stuff is proven. It's actually really good that they used all wire form on this table. There's really not a lot of plastic where you're going to expose a lot. I mean, sure, the upper playfield has some plastic on it, but they did a really good job. Like even in the slings, for example, just a wear and tear discussion, right? Double stack the plastic. A lot of people are probably aware you can get plastic protectors, you can put washers. There's many things you can do to protect plastic. They actually come from the factory on this one with double plastic. So basically, one clear piece of plastic underneath can be sacrificed, easily replaced, and the colored one on top. By the way, production run, according to Pinside on this machine, they said it's 500. So it looks like 500 were produced.
Nice. Well, congrats on getting one. I'm going to guess if you have this table in a year, it's going to be the best kept Alice Cooper out there.
Yeah, I'm already going to tear it down probably this weekend and just do some basic cleaning on it and
Oh,
stuff.
man.
Yeah,
What
it's nice.
I gotta talk? How do I gotta talk you into having me over for a bite? Because man,
Oh yeah, man, we definitely need to have you over. We should have others over too. But I know this machine's near and dear to your heart.
mm,
I gotta make a plug. I gotta make a plug, and I've mentioned this a couple of times in the community group. But for those of you who are not aware, this will be just a quick story. Some of you heard it before, but when we were at TPF years ago now, and this was first released, Alice Cooper's Nightmare Castle. Bowen Cairns was there, and he was going to walk everyone through as he normally does. He does this every year. Walk through getting to the end of the game. The previous year he had done nuclear annihilation, getting all 9 reactors. This year he was going to show $1 billion babies. Even though the code wasn't finished, it was buggy. He was going to walk everyone through that. So before we got to see that, Owen had walked around and we'd talked to him. Chris, myself, we'd talked to him, and he basically said that here's the challenge, right? He almost kind of he was giving us inside information, but at the same time, almost like it was received as a challenge by Chris, but I didn't perceive it this way. I think Bowen had achieved 635 million, and he basically said that there's no way you could beat that. There's no way you could get to 1 billion points unless you get $1 billion baby and you exit the castle. Here's the guy who wrote the code, right? So you have to or the rule set and the scoring. So you have to kind of listen to him. Here Chris comes up, and I don't know how many games you've played, Chris. I'm assuming less than a handful. It may have been your first game, second game. I don't know.
Not many, because you couldn't play that many on the table. It was a popular table as it was
It was a popular table. That's why we only got to play it once, and I think you may have even, I don't know if you went after hours, but you had the chance to play. Chris sends us a picture, sends it to me, sends it to Tracy, and I think you got like 670 million, something like that. And the button came off in your hand, which is the even funnier thing. So you could have even gone further,
right?
And you literally stopped and took a picture. So you'd beaten Bowen's best score, which at the time, as far as anyone knew, was the highest score anyone had ever made in the world on this brand new machine. No one else has even played. You beat him by like 35 million points. Now, granted, the next day, Bowen did go in and he did get to $1 billion babies mode, and he did get a higher score, I think of 913 million, something around there. The point is, I mean, Bowen's had access to that table since it was literally whitewood, right? I mean, he's probably played it countless times, and Bowen is an incredible player. But I mean, that's a testament to just how solid of a pinball player that Chris is. I mean, here Bowen Cairns is one of the top ranked in the world, right? And you go in and crush his score.
I will say Bowen is definitely a better pinball player than me, and I'm not in his league. I had a good day, so.
Most days, I think you could pick your 4 best in the community, have them play co-op mode against Bowen, and Bowen would crush them.
I agree.
That was an incredible feat. So that's a cool story to relate.
Yeah, I was able. You were the only one I wasn't able to sling that one by too. I posted it very, very deep in I posted like 30 pictures from TPF, and I just posted the score amongst a bunch of others. And just let it.
I knew you wouldn't say anything about it. That's the cool thing. I knew you would never say anything about it, and so that's why I have to kind of brag on you. That was an amazing feat.
Thanks. Yeah, and invite us over one day. I'll drag Shannon over too. She never got to play that one.
Yes, please. Certain. Can I come, please?
we got one more pin to make it. We should have it by Friday, and then we'll be at our complete up until we have to find a place for Rick and Morty. So then we'll have 6 of them on Friday if everything comes out.
Nice.
Let's see, David, your Houdini comes in this week?
Saturday.
Saturday? Oh, are you gonna be able to make it out to free play with it opening?
I think I should go to Denton. If Shannon's going to be there on Saturday, I should go to Denton on Saturday.
I will also be at Denton on Saturday. Yeah, Emily is going on vacation for a week starting on Sunday, so I changed my plans. I was going to go to Fort Worth on Saturday, but instead I'm going to Denton. Denton with everybody else. No one has supported us quite like the players at Denton on the stream itself. Like, they're incredibly regular here on the stream, and they've helped me stay going all of this time. So I have
the free play opens up and Emily goes on vacation.
Well, she's not. She hasn't been included on the hired back staff yet either. So but she had a standing trip. That being said, like, she's as committed to free play as I am, which is like they couldn't. They laid us all off, and I kept going. So I would anticipate her being there early and often. She's just going on a week vacation. Yeah, it's those of us who are really hardcore about it, and honestly, everybody who's talking on the stream right now is among these people. Like, you're not going to be able to get us to stop going. So I'm super happy to go out there and play with Emily, and I guess Shannon and David as well on Saturday.
Yes. Hey, I have to go feed my kid.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, so I will see you guys this weekend.
All right, see you then.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. Well, if you get a chance to set it up, David, why don't we talk about Houdini next week at this time?
Okay.
That would be totally cool.
Is that cool with you?
Sure.
Yeah. No, I'm. That's another table that I played and found it intriguing. I wanted to give it more time, but
I love the Magic storyline games. There's a few of them that are out there, and
like Theater.
The Theater Magic. Austin, what's that older one? A Sorcerer, I believe.
Sorcerer's awesome.
Yeah, they're just really good pinball genres, right? So
especially if it's gonna use physical effects like Theater does, it's pinball literally doing a magic trick in front of you, and that's really cool to equate the two.
Yeah, the one time or the few times I played it and getting used to like what the different modes are. I mean, it's tough. You have to make the shots in order type rules sometimes, and that's always a challenge, to say, okay, not only do you have to hit 5 targets, but you have to hit the 5 targets, in order.
Yeah, so what we're saying is we need you to wizard mode it by next Wednesday so that you can tell us all about it.
Yeah. I will put rubber bands on the outer play field, out lanes, and
then,
no one said you couldn't do it with the glass off, right?
Right. It might be difficult with the glass off if you are required to hit that many shots in succession.
But yeah, I mean, Sunday is my wife's birthday, so Saturday I'm getting myself a new pinball machine. That's the way things should be.
Which is really a present for the both of you. I'm assuming that she's a player too. Is that a safe assumption?
No, it's not.
Okay.
Still tolerate it, but I haven't caught her in there playing in a while.
Interesting.
Man. Tracy is obviously not the same case there. She'll be in there playing when I can't play any longer. So, if that's a good thing or a bad thing though, that means we've got 2 addicts to feed. So,
I like it that way. I've my roommate is not an avid gamer, but almost everybody I've dated in my life, with the exception of her, has been a gamer, and I don't know. I guess that's just me. I like playing games with people, so it's just so infectious that like that's something I would want to share if possible. It must be weird.
Yeah,
oh man. So she
tolerates my hobby. She lets me buy new machines. Doesn't give me any grief over it. So we recognize that that's just kind of the thing that I do, and she has her thing.
Totally understand. There's a gameplay style that I've had introduced to me of late that's kind of brought on to us by the advent of streaming, where if you both had a common table, you could both stream the game at the same time and just play head to head remotely, and
yes.
That's something like I had mentioned that Shannon and I had been playing an old Doom game together. That's not deathmatch style. We had been playing it single player separately streaming on the same platform. And that's opened my eyes to all new possibilities for multiplayer. That's made me excited about a bunch of single player games again. So, yeah, that's me getting smashed on old stuff and playing old games with new people. So, I have many exciting games ahead of me in the next few weeks. I am very hopeful. Cannot wait to see you guys either.
Yeah, for sure. Do you know which location you're going to go to first?
Yes. All of us in the office will be going to the Richardson location on June 12th. So Corey, Kelsey, Richard, everybody who is high up is going to be at Richardson taking pictures and playing. And then the next day, the 13th, I'll be in Denton. And then Sunday, I'll be at one of the other 2 locations, but that's TBD. I'm kind of leaning towards Arlington right now, although it will always depend upon people who want to go out. So if the Arlington players would have me, then I'll go there. And if the Fort Worth players are clamoring for me, then I'll be there.
Cool.
So
Like a plan?
yeah, I'll see you guys this weekend if you're out. I'll see you in Denton on Saturday, David. And
Yes.
And yeah, I'll see you guys here next week where we talk about Houdini.
Alrighty.
And by the way,
Talk to you later.
Pinballers as a podcast was a thing before the stay-at-home orders. I really like having a pinball show, so I plan to keep it going. Even if it's not at this time or in this fashion, I definitely want to keep up with Pinballers as a podcast. Maybe even find a RSS feed for it or something. It's an important show to me, and maybe we can tie it in with Pinball Monday or the Dallas Pinball League, or sorry, the Free Play Pinball League. Whenever we
Whoa.
right, it's bigger than Dallas. I know, bigger than Dallas. But yeah, we can have live reports or whatever we need to do in the future. I do want to keep doing the Pinballers.
All right.
Awesome.
Talk to you guys later.
So yeah,
Here.
thanks, Austin. Brendan will be back, we think. Depends on poker. That is the Pinballers. And who's with me that helps me decide what I'm going to do? If you guys are feeling something in particular,